So today again, we're going to touch on the breath and the blade. The breath being that air that's going in and out of your lungs, expanding and contracting your rib cage and your lungs as you breathe. And so putting those things together in all of our movements will give us an extra layer of strength and profoundness, one might say, to our practice. Okay? So everything starts with the breath. And if you haven't already, you're not familiar with Ujjayi breath or victorious breathing, the way that you want to engage that, we'll go through some exercises. And then for the blade part, for turning the body on and off, it's really the idea of tensing and relaxing. Okay? And so you can do that with any part of your body that has muscle, right? So even as you breathe, there's a tensing and relaxing, right? We don't have to even add limbs and appendages per se right away to sort of get a feel for that. So one way to begin with the breath, to start playing with this idea of breath and blade, is to exhale all the air to your lungs. Yeah? Imagine you're blowing out birthday candles on a cake and you have one blow to get it all out, or as many as you need, but keep exhaling, 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 exhaling until all the air in your lungs is so far out that the pressure on the outside of the lungs is greater than that within, and your belly almost pulls back to your spine and there's no air in your lungs. So you have a full exhale, everything's empty. And then when you're at that point, we'll call the bottom of your exhale, you keep the lips sealed. You're going to breathe in through the nose, very deep, very slow, until your lungs are so expanded you can feel them pressing on the insides of your rib cage. Your lungs are full of air, right? And so just going to, and you're at the top of the inhale. So just going between those two extremes, inhaling fully, exhaling fully. You might even find some space to sort of pause at the bottom of the exhale or the top of the inhale sometimes. Right? Not to hold the breath, but it may just feel good. You have this sort of journey already happening. Right? And as you're inhaling, you're relaxing the core muscles so you can make room for your lungs to expand. And when you exhale, you really can engage the core muscles to pull the belly back towards the spine. Right? So already you have a breath and blade. Right? You're hardening and softening the blade of your body, and you're moving through the natural process of inhaling and exhaling, but with some added effort. So to touch on the breath, some exercises. What we're going to do is breathe all the air out of our lungs. Keep the lips sealed. Don't clench the teeth. Don't clench the jaw. And we're going to inhale through the nose until our lungs are full of air, right? And don't hold the breath. You may lightly float there. It may feel good. But you're going to exhale out the same way through the nose and pull the belly into the spine when you're at the bottom of the exhale. And we're going to do that 3 times. One thing to note when you're breathing is to get the textured breath that we want, and you'll hear from me, you want to imagine you're fogging a mirror, right? When it's cold outside, if you go with your breath, you can sometimes see the breath, right? Or if you put it on a mirror or some kind of glass, you can see the fog of breath as of condensation, right? That light mist. But you want to imagine doing that with your nose. If you're not familiar with it, at first it might seem a little funny. It might not feel that you're doing it right, but as you practice it, it'll come. It's a little subtle. It's almost like you're constricting the back of your throat, or everyone has a different way of doing it. But this will give a texture to your breath, right? So let's do 3 at a time. Let's do 3 right now. We're going to exhale all the air out of our lungs. Breathe in. Slow. Really enjoy it. Keep just doing that a few times, and then pausing, just enjoying the calmness after some of those strong textured breaths. Highly recommended. You can stop there. You're good. But now we want to add the blade, right? The tensing and the relaxation of our body with that breath. And oftentimes, if you can sort of marry them together such that when you inhale, you find an expansion and a relaxation, and when you exhale, you find a contraction, that could be good, yeah. So for example, let's do 3, right? Well, first let's get the blade part going, right? So the expansion, you can imagine This is an expansion. Right? My chest is expanding, even though I'm contracting in my back. It's an expansion somewhere. And then if I exhale and bring my palms together to touch, and my chest turns on, I'm trying to press my palms together, that's a contraction. So imagine now putting it with the breath. Two more. And there's so many different ways to marry that same base breath with a bunch of different movements. And that's what we'll be calling out when we go through class and do a few different movements as well. Enjoy.